Okay, so imagine this. The world feels electric. The internet is alive, and the fans are buzzing, because Taylor Swift just dropped her newest album and everyone everywhere cannot stop talking about the songs, the lyrics, the visuals, and of course the tiny little details that make Swifties lose their minds in the best way possible. And right in the middle of this global excitement, there's a beautiful twist that has captured hearts and started conversations all over social media because fans think that Blake Lively might have just reacted to Taylor's album in a way that speaks louder than words. And not just that, some eagle-eyed fans are convinced that the jewelry Taylor wore in her album photo shoot might actually belong to Blake Lively, and that has sent the fandom into a joyful frenzy because what could be more iconic than two best friends sharing not just laughter and love, but maybe even diamonds and memories that sparkle with meaning? It's the kind of moment that reminds people why they love the world of celebrities so much, because beyond the glamour and fame, there's a human connection that feels so real and emotional. So let's dive right into this golden universe, where friendship, fame, and artistry intertwine in the most inspiring way possible. Because when we talk about Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, we're not just talking about two stars. We're talking about two forces of light who have shaped culture with authenticity, grace, and creativity. And it's no surprise that the world can't get enough of them. Taylor's album Life of a Showgirl is already being hailed as one of her most personal and cinematic works, filled with layers of storytelling, metaphors, and heart. While Blake's quiet reaction on social media and her subtle nods to Taylor's artistry have added a warm glow to an already shining moment, people love their bond because it feels genuine, something that stands strong despite the spotlight, and it's so beautiful to see. Because in a world where celebrity friendships often fade with time, this one only seems to grow deeper and more meaningful. But this story isn't just about jewelry or rumors. It's about the entire fabric of the celebrity world, where emotions, art, and connection weave together to create magic. Taylor's career itself has been a journey of transformation, from the teenage country girl singing about love and heartbreak to a global icon redefining the music industry on her own terms. She's faced challenges and criticism, yet turned every setback into a song, every heartbreak into poetry, every doubt into empowerment. And that's why fans love her, not just for her music, but for the strength and vulnerability she represents. And when you think of Blake Lively, she mirrors that same radiant energy. She's not just an actress, she's a creator, a style icon, a mother, and a woman who continues to inspire. With her grace and humor, she has built a career defined by confidence, kindness, and authenticity, from her early days on Gossip Girl to her stunning film roles and business ventures. She has shown that being a celebrity doesn't mean losing your sense of self. It means using your platform to create joy and beauty. And that's what ties her to Taylor in such a special way. Both women are deeply rooted in creativity, love, and empowerment, and their friendship has always been about supporting each other, not competing. And that kind of connection in Hollywood is rare and precious. Their bond has inspired countless fans to believe in friendship that transcends fame, because when they appear together, whether it's at a red carpet event, a private dinner, or a simple social media post, the internet collectively melts with joy. It's as if they carry a kind of light that everyone can feel. And that's what makes this moment so captivating, because beyond the glitz, it's a story of love, trust, and shared growth. Now, zooming out from them, we see that this is something many celebrities across the world have in common. These authentic friendships that anchor them in the whirlwind of fame. Like when Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift have stood by each other for over a decade, weathering the storms of tabloids and public speculation with quiet loyalty, or when Beyoncé and Kelly Rowland continue to cheer each other on in every milestone, reminding the world that sisterhood is forever. And speaking of sisterhood, we can't forget about Zendaya, whose journey, from Disney star to global fashion muse and award-winning actress, has been marked by humility and grace. She radiates calm confidence and uses her platform to empower others to be unapologetically themselves. Zendaya's friendships with people, like Timothée Chalamet and Tom Holland, show that genuine bonds can exist even under the brightest lights. She balances fame and authenticity with effortless beauty, and it's so refreshing to see. And then there's Rihanna, whose story continues to be one of resilience, vision, and love. From music to beauty to motherhood, she's shown the world that success doesn't have to fit into one box. Her relationship with her fans, her team, and the people she supports through her Fenty empire reflects deep respect and inclusivity. And when we think of philanthropy, We can't leave out stars like Angelina Jolie, who has spent decades dedicating her time and voice to humanitarian causes. She reminds us that celebrity power can be a force for good. And that compassion is a universal language that breaks through borders, now circling back to Taylor and Blake. Their friendship embodies this same spirit of giving and connection. They both use their influence not to dominate the spotlight, but to uplift and inspire others. Whether it's Taylor donating millions to education and disaster relief, or Blake working to end child exploitation and promote positive body image. These women prove that fame and kindness can coexist beautifully. And when fans think Taylor might be wearing Blake's jewelry, it's more than just a fashion rumor. It's symbolic of the closeness they share, the way they influence each other in subtle ways through style, through support, through laughter. It's a reminder that behind the perfection of celebrity lives, there are real emotions, real friendships, and real stories. And it's those stories that make the world of fame so endlessly fascinating. It's not about scandal or gossip, it's about the way human connection continues to thrive in places where you least expect it. And when fans connect the dots between jewelry albums and friendship, they're really connecting to something deeper. The idea that even in a world built on image, the most beautiful things are invisible. The love, loyalty, and understanding between people who truly care about each other. And that's what makes celebrities like Taylor Swift and Blake Lively more than just stars. They're storytellers, dreamers, and friends who remind everyone that even when life sparkles with fame, the real shine comes from the heart. And this idea echoes through so many corners of the entertainment world, from Hollywood to London to Seoul, where K-pop idols like BTS show the same kind of brotherhood that melts millions of hearts around the globe. Their journey from small practice rooms to global stages mirrors the same kind of passion and perseverance that fuels every great artist and their message of self-love. And unity resonates just as deeply as the stories of Hollywood icons. And then there are legends like Oprah Winfrey, whose entire career has been built on connection, empathy, and storytelling. She has spent decades showing people that vulnerability is strength, and that success means nothing without compassion. And it's that kind of wisdom that seems to flow through the new generation of stars who are redefining fame not as something that separates them, but as something that unites them. Taylor Swift's life of a showgirl embodies this evolution of celebrity culture because it's not just about glitz. It's about authenticity, about taking control of your story and doing it with love and intention. And when Blake Lively shows support through her quiet reactions and gestures, it adds another layer of beauty to that story. It's like two artists speaking a silent language of mutual respect and admiration. And the fans get to be a part of it, witnessing a friendship that's built not on publicity, but on genuine understanding and love. And that's what makes it so moving. And as we look around the celebrity world, we can see how these bonds create ripples of positivity across generations, because for every glamorous headline, there's a deeper truth, a human story, a moment of kindness that reminds the world that even stars need someone who truly knows them. And in this shining tapestry of fame, fashion, and friendship, Taylor and Blake's story is one of the brightest threads, a reminder that even the smallest gesture, like wearing a friend's jewelry, can become a symbol of trust, love, and connection that fans around the world will never stop believing in. Because in the end, it's not the jewelry that matters, it's the friendship that sparkles behind it. And so as the story continues, the fascination only grows deeper because every new detail, every subtle connection between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively feels like a treasure waiting to be discovered. Fans across the world are decoding every frame, from Taylor's life of a Showgirl album shoot, noticing the delicate gold bangles, the soft shimmer of a necklace, and the way it seems to echo the signature jewelry style that Blake has worn in the past. And while nothing is confirmed, the fun of the speculation is what keeps the fandom alive. It's like a game of emotional storytelling that everyone gets to play together, where each tiny clue becomes a love letter to friendship and creativity. It's amazing how these two women have built a legacy that transcends just their careers and has turned into something emotional and inspiring for millions, because they represent something deeper than fame. They represent the power of staying true to who you are in a world that's constantly trying to change you. Both Taylor and Blake have walked through years of public attention with grace, laughter, and loyalty, and that is what makes them so loved by people of all ages. From young dreamers watching their first music video to older fans who've grown up with them through every chapter of their lives. There's a sense of connection that feels almost personal. Taylor's songwriting captures emotions that people can see themselves in, and Blake's presence on screen feels Warm and real, like someone you'd want as a friend. Their paths crossed years ago, and since then, they've shared moments that the world remembers, from spending holidays together, to supporting each other's projects, to little Easter eggs that fans find tucked away in Taylor's music videos and Blake's interviews. It's a friendship that glows quietly but brightly, one that doesn't need grand statements because it shines through authenticity. And that's what makes this entire jewelry theory so wholesome. Instead of creating drama, it adds sweetness. It makes people smile because it's about connection, about celebrating a bond that thrives on trust and affection. And when you look beyond them, you start to see that this theme of genuine connection weaves through the entire fabric of the celebrity universe, because so many stars today are building careers grounded in purpose and compassion. Like Selena Gomez, who has turned her experiences with mental health into a powerful platform for awareness through her brand, Rare Beauty. She reminds fans that self-love is not just a message, it's a journey, and that vulnerability is a form of strength. And then you have Zendaya, another shining example of someone who balances global fame with authenticity. Her words, her fashion choices, her activism all speak to a young woman who leads with intelligence and heart. She too values friendships and creative collaborations built on trust and mutual respect. It's the same energy that Taylor and Blake share, that sense of quiet solidarity that gives strength when the world gets loud and unpredictable, even in Hollywood, where fame can sometimes blur the lines of reality. There are still so many examples of love and loyalty that make you believe in the good. Like when Beyoncé and Jay-Z stand together, not just as music icons, but as partners who uplift each other's artistry. Or when Lady Gaga takes time to speak about kindness and empathy, reminding fans that fame is fleeting, but compassion is forever. These moments remind us that celebrities are not just figures on screens. They are people with hearts who care, who grow, who learn, and who love deeply. And when they show that side of themselves, it connects us to something universal. Something that reminds us that no matter how different our lives may seem, we all crave understanding and connection. And that's exactly why this conversation around Taylor Swift and Blake Lively resonates so powerfully. It's because it reflects what people want to see in the world. Friendship that endures, loyalty that doesn't fade, and artistry that tells the truth through beauty. Even the way Taylor weaves her friendships into her creative world is pure magic, from featuring friends in her music videos to writing songs inspired by the people she loves. She makes every connection feel sacred. She's done it with Selena, with Lana Del Rey, with Haim, with so many others, and now this subtle nod to Blake through the jewelry, and the visual storytelling feels like another thread in that beautiful tapestry. And Blake, too, has always been someone who carries her friendships like precious jewels, whether it's her bond with her husband, Ryan Reynolds, or her connection with other powerful women in entertainment. She leads with joy, humor, and warmth. People admire her because she seems to have found a way to balance family, career, and friendship without losing her sense of playfulness. And that's rare and precious, and the way their worlds overlap feels almost cinematic. Two women from different corners of the industry, music and film, yet so aligned in values and energy. It's no wonder their friendship feels like a story in itself. And when you think about the influence they've had separately, it's extraordinary. Taylor has redefined what it means to own your art. She's taken control of her masters, stood up for artists' rights, and turned heartbreak into empowerment. She's the living definition of resilience. Blake, on the other hand, has become a force in both entertainment and entrepreneurship with her clean beauty brand, Betty Buzz, and her upcoming directorial projects. She's proving that creativity has no limits. And when women like them support each other, it sends ripples of inspiration around the world, because representation matters. When young girls see Taylor and Blake lifting each other up, they see that success isn't a competition, it's a collaboration, that real strength comes from community, not isolation. And this positive message echoes through so many corners of the celebrity world today, like Emma Watson, who continues to advocate for gender equality and education, or Rihanna, who brings diversity and inclusivity to the fashion industry through her Fenty brand. And when we look at icons like Dolly Parton, who has quietly donated millions to literacy programs, we realize that kindness is the thread connecting all these stars across generations. It's the real legacy behind the lights. And when fans see Taylor possibly wearing Blake's jewelry, it's like a symbol of that same kindness. A whisper of connection that says we're all part of each other's stories. And maybe that's why this moment has touched so many people, because it's not about what's trending, it's about what's timeless: friendship, loyalty, and shared creativity. It's what makes the world of celebrities so mesmerizing. Because behind the designer gowns, the world tours, and the magazine covers, there are people who love deeply and dream endlessly. And that's what draws audiences back. Time and again. Not just the glamour, but the humanity, the laughter behind the camera, the small gestures of support, the genuine joy when one friend succeeds, because that's what we all long for, to be seen, to be understood, to have someone who cheers for us when we shine. And that's the secret of why celebrity friendships like Taylor Swift and Blake Lively's captivate so many hearts. They remind us that no matter how big the stage gets, love and friendship are still the brightest lights in the room, and it's that beautiful truth that keeps the entertainment world spinning with emotion and wonder, inspiring millions of fans to believe that even in the dazzling universe of fame, what truly matters are the quiet moments of connection that make us feel alive. And as the story unfolds, it feels like we're witnessing more than just celebrity moments. We're seeing an evolution of how people connect, how they express care, and how they build legacies rooted in love rather than competition. Because when Taylor Swift releases a new album, or Blake Lively steps out in a new role, or shares a glimpse of her family life, it becomes a celebration, not just of their success, but of the journey that led them there. Fans remember where it all began, the small town girl from Pennsylvania who turned her emotions into global anthems, and the bright-spirited actress from Tarrytown who turned heads on Gossip Girl and grew into a powerhouse of creativity and motherhood. And seeing them both thrive reminds people that growth is not a straight line. It's a dance between vulnerability and courage. It's about showing up for yourself and others even when the world watches closely. And that's what makes their story so relatable, because it's not perfection that people love, it's the way they handle imperfection with grace. Whether it's Taylor smiling through criticism or Blake balancing fame and family with humor, it gives people permission to embrace their own journeys. And if you zoom out, you can see how their energy mirrors the stories of other stars who've learned to thrive under pressure, like Selena Gomez, who openly shares her healing process and teaches millions about emotional strength, or Harry Styles, who continues to break barriers in music and fashion while staying grounded and kind. His journey from One Direction to solo stardom is a reminder that reinvention is a form of art, and every chapter matters. And then there's Zendaya, who carries the flag of modern stardom with such elegance, blending film fashion and advocacy with effortless charm. She too embodies the idea that being yourself is the ultimate rebellion. And that's what ties all these stories together. It's not about fame for the sake of fame. It's about influence that inspires change. Think about how Taylor uses her music to amplify women's voices, or how Blake uses her platform to spotlight creative entrepreneurs and charitable causes. They are not just creating art, they are shaping culture. And that's what makes their connection even more meaningful, because when people like them support each other, they create a ripple effect that reaches far beyond Hollywood or New York. It touches fans everywhere who see a bit of themselves in their heroes, the teenage songwriter, the dreamer, actor, the aspiring designer, or the everyday person looking for hope in their own lives. That's the beauty of celebrity influence. When it's used to lift people up, it becomes something larger than entertainment. It becomes a movement. And if you look back through history, the entertainment world has always had these pairs and groups of friends who changed the narrative. Think of Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor. 2 women who redefined beauty and strength in their time. Or Elton John and Freddie Mercury, who showed the world that art could be both powerful and vulnerable. These relationships were more than personal. They were transformative. They reminded people that art thrives on connection. And that's exactly what the modern friendships like Taylor and Blake represent, a new generation of stars who redefine what it means to be successful through kindness, loyalty, and shared creativity. And while some fans may speculate about every tiny detail from jewelry to song lyrics, what really matters is that these symbols spark joy and curiosity. They bring people together in conversations filled with admiration and love. And that's something truly rare in an age of digital noise. Because in these moments, you can feel genuine excitement, collective emotion that transcends screens and becomes a shared experience. This is the secret of why celebrity culture endures, because deep down, we don't just follow celebrities for their work, we follow them because they mirror our own emotions. They live out stories we all relate to: love, heartbreak, ambition, friendship, growth, and redemption. And when they rise above challenges, it gives everyone watching a sense of hope. Because if they can do it, maybe we can too. And that's what makes someone like Taylor Swift such a phenomenon. She doesn't just write songs. She tells the story of resilience with every lyric she's turned pain into. poetry fame into purpose, and friendship into fuel for creation. And Blake Lively does the same through her humor, authenticity, and elegance. Whether she's acting, directing, or creating, she radiates joy that feels infectious, and together they remind fans that you can be both strong and kind, both powerful and humble, both driven and compassionate. And that's a message that transcends fame. It's a message for humanity. And when you look at how their friendship fits into the broader landscape of modern celebrity, it's a perfect example of what's changing for the better. Because now more than ever, fans celebrate collaboration instead of rivalry. Like when Taylor works with Phoebe Bridgers, or when Beyoncé cheers for Rihanna, or when Zendaya and Tom Holland lift each other up in interviews. It's the new era of mutual respect and positivity. And it's so refreshing to see how far that has come. Because there was a time when tabloids thrived on feuds and drama. But today, audiences crave authenticity. They want to see real stories, real emotions, and real friendships. They want to see Taylor attending Blake's premieres, and Blake sharing kind words about Taylor's music. They want to see behind the curtain, not to expose, but to connect. Because that's what the digital generation values most: connection. It's why social media moments between celebrities go viral, because it reminds people that even stars have genuine bonds and hearts full of love. And when you see that through the lens of creativity, it becomes even more inspiring. Because collaboration always leads to evolution. Just look at how Taylor reinvented herself through her eras, or how Blake is stepping into new creative roles behind the camera. They both understand that staying stagnant is not an option. Growth is the heartbeat of art, and that's why their journeys are so deeply intertwined, because both of them represent the courage to evolve fearlessly and beautifully. And when you think about it, this jewelry speculation is just another reflection of that evolution. Fans are noticing symbols because they know every detail in Taylor's world has meaning. She's built her storytelling empire on that kind of intentionality. And if this subtle connection to Blake exists, it's not about materialism. It's about meaning, about how art mirrors life and life inspires art. And that's what keeps fans so emotionally invested, because they're not just listening to songs or watching movies. They're following stories that echo their own growth journeys. They feel like part of something bigger, a community of dreamers who find hope and beauty in the art created by the people they admire. And that emotional investment is the soul of celebrity culture. When used positively, it turns fame into a force for good. And that's exactly what artists like Taylor Blake, Selena Zendaya, and so many others are doing. They're shifting the energy from competition to collaboration, from gossip to gratitude, from fame, chasing to purpose-driven living, and fans can feel that shift. It's why meet and greets are emotional, why concerts feel like therapy, why interviews go viral when stars speak from the heart. Because it's not about perfection anymore, it's about presence, about showing up as your authentic self and letting people see your light even in your messy moments. And Taylor has mastered that balance. She knows how to turn her truth into art in a way that uplifts others. And Blake mirrors that in her groundedness and humor, reminding everyone that joy and creativity can coexist with grace. And that combination is what keeps people coming back for more. Not just to watch or listen, but to feel and to believe in something pure in a world that often feels complicated. And when celebrities use their platforms to remind people of love, kindness, and connection, it ripples across generations, inspiring not just fans, but fellow artists to do the same. That's why this current era of fame feels more human than ever, because the walls are breaking down and realness is shining through. And it all starts with stories like these two women whose friendship continues to inspire and remind us that even in the loudest corners of fame, the softest gestures of love and support are what truly echo the longest. And as we move deeper into this beautiful universe of creativity, fame, and heart, it becomes even clearer that the most powerful thing about celebrity culture today is how it reflects the collective spirit of its audience. Because when we watch Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, we're not just observing two women at the peak of their success, we're seeing reflections of every person who has ever tried to balance love, work, friendship, and purpose. We see ourselves in the way they navigate life's changes with grace and laughter, and it reminds us that fame may be magnified, but emotions remain universal. Their friendship, like so many others in Hollywood, is a living symbol of how authenticity can thrive, even under the brightest spotlight. And it sets the tone for so many other artists who follow the same path. With heart, think about someone like Dua Lipa, whose journey from London clubs to global stages is a story of perseverance and self-belief. Or the way Billie Eilish has transformed vulnerability into her greatest strength, showing that art doesn't need to fit a mold to touch millions, And then there's Timothée Chalamet, whose rise to fame has been marked by curiosity, humility, and artistic bravery, proving that true charisma lies not in perfection, but in the willingness to feel deeply and express it honestly. And that same authenticity echoes through stars like Zendaya, who continues to redefine the meaning of young Hollywood, blending fashion, activism, and artistry into a single empowering narrative. She represents a generation that values honesty over image, substance over spectacle. And that's why she resonates so strongly with audiences across the globe. This new era of celebrities are not just performers. They are storytellers, leaders, and role models in their own unique ways. And when we tie that back to Taylor and Blake, we can see that their friendship and the admiration surrounding it fit perfectly within this cultural shift. They are proof that strength comes from sincerity, that kindness is not weakness, and that collaboration is the future of success. Even when the media tries to spin narratives of rivalry or speculation, fans see through it because they know that true connection leaves its mark quietly and powerfully in the smiles shared at events, the small gestures of support, the way their names intertwine in art and conversation. And that's why fans around the world feel so deeply connected to this moment of Taylor's life, of a Showgirl album shoot, and the possibility of her wearing Blake's jewelry. It's because it represents continuity in a world that's always changing. It's a thread of friendship, woven into a tapestry of fame and art. And that thread reminds people that even when life gets fast-paced or uncertain, love and loyalty are what truly endure. And that message resonates beyond Hollywood. It speaks to everyone navigating friendships, relationships, and dreams, because we all need reminders that kindness matters. And that growth doesn't mean leaving people behind. It means carrying them with you into new chapters. And that's what so many stars today are showing in their own ways. Take, for example, Selena Gomez and her approach to friendship. She continues to emphasize love and forgiveness, even when faced with public speculation. She speaks openly about boundaries, healing, and empathy, showing fans that emotional intelligence is a form of strength. Then there's Beyoncé, who continues to uplift others through her work with incredible grace. Balancing superstardom with generosity and quiet mentorship, she celebrates other artists instead of competing with them. And that's a powerful example of leadership in a world that often rewards rivalry, and we can't forget Harry Styles, whose concerts have become safe spaces for self-expression and joy. His philosophy of treating people with kindness has become a global mantra, and that's exactly the kind of energy that connects him to this broader narrative of positivity and authenticity, because these are not just stars. They are symbols of how fame can evolve into something meaningful and hopeful. And as we continue through this exploration, we start to see patterns of compassion everywhere, from Rihanna building inclusive beauty empires to Emma Watson fighting for gender equality to Keanu Reeves being admired not just for his talent, but for his humility and generosity. And when you put all of these figures together, in your mind, it feels like a constellation of light, each one shining differently, but all connected by the same purpose: to bring goodness into the world and inspire others to do the same. And that's why celebrity culture, when viewed through this lens, becomes something deeply human, because at its best, it teaches empathy and unity. It reminds people that greatness doesn't come from perfection, but from heart. And that message is what keeps audiences coming back, not just to hear new songs or watch new films, but to feel seen and uplifted, to witness transformation and love expressed in creative ways. And when you think about Taylor Swift's evolution through her eras, from Fearless to Folklore to Midnights to Life of a Showgirl, you can see how she's turned her life into a living art gallery. Each album a reflection of where she's been, emotionally, spiritually, and artistically. She's not afraid to share her growth. And that's what makes her timeless and Blake lively. Mirrors that through her own transformations, from actress to entrepreneur to mother to director, she continues to reinvent herself with a smile, showing that ambition and joy can coexist, and that life is richer when you embrace change instead of fearing it. And so when the world watches these women and wonders about their friendship, it's more than just curiosity. It's admiration for two people who balance brilliance with authenticity, who build each other up and celebrate each other's light. And that's something that transcends celebrity status. It becomes a lesson for everyone watching, that you can shine without dimming someone else's light, that you can be both confident and compassionate, and that in the end, love, loyalty, and creativity are the truest forms of power. And as this wave of positivity continues across the industry, We see it in countless others like Lizzo spreading messages of self-love and body positivity, or Tom Holland showing gratitude and humility. Even at the height of fame, or Zendaya taking every red carpet moment as an opportunity to express individuality and confidence in a way that inspires millions of young fans to embrace their uniqueness. This is what the modern celebrity landscape looks like now. It's about humanity, not hierarchy, about connection, not competition. And that's why the world is so fascinated by these glimpses of friendship between figures like Taylor and Blake, because it represents what people crave most. Realness, warmth, and trust in a world that can often feel superficial and fleeting. It's comforting to see reminders that genuine friendship can exist even among those living in the brightest spotlight. And so the story keeps unfolding not as gossip, but as a celebration of everything that makes people human. The laughter, the shared memories, the little gestures that say, I see you, I support you, I love you. And that's what keeps fans watching and believing and celebrating, because when they see that kind of authenticity reflected in their favorite stars, it inspires them to nurture the same in their own lives. And that ripple effect of love, kindness, and inspiration is what makes the world of fame so endlessly fascinating and so deeply beautiful. Stay tuned for more celebrity stories, inspirational journeys, and red carpet moments that touch the heart. Subscribe for weekly storytelling documentaries about the stars you love.